It's Motivation Monday, and this week we are looking at one of the most critical health issues in America, sleep.
Most of us are usually up around 4:30, 5 o'clock. If you're dual military, you're up. If you're a single parent, you're up.
We'll take a look at why sleep patterns plague many in our military community, especially those dealing with post-traumatic stress.
Also on school, she decreased on her grades, and she was falling asleep during class. That was one of the signs that I felt like it's something that's going on with her.
It wasn't just this local fifth grader's grades taking a dive. We're joined by the El Paso Sleep Center this week to help explain why many kids are failing in school.
Actually, something new in teenagers that we're trying to involve with the schools now.
And we'll look at how a new study in one borderland school district is trying to prove kids need to start school later.
It's been known that probably 15% will have obstructive sleep apnea. We used to say that was 3%. Now we know that the incidence is higher.
We also introduce you to one of the worst diagnosed cases of sleep apnea in the borderland.
I would go to sleep tired, wake up exhausted, and there'd be times I would fall asleep on driving, either on my motorcycle or in the car. If I was in the car, I'd hear the little bumps on the side of the road, wake me up. Or there'd be times I'd be on the motorcycle and I was gonna stop at a store and I'd pass it. And I knew I was falling asleep, and that's when I knew it was bad.
Mike Rodriguez is a production director here at KFOX and CBS4. He's in a group that you may be in too, Working Odd Hours, which is a group that Dr. Diaz says is at especially high risk of health disorders due to lack of sleep.
When it's more severe, you fall asleep driving. I mean, at red light, you fall asleep watching TV. That's a bad sign.
And to be clear, not everyone with a sleep disorder has sleep apnea.
If you have somebody with obesity, which is getting a very common problem these days, 50% has sleep apnea.
However, a shocking amount of people do.
You have somebody with diabetes, 85% has sleep apnea.
Weight is not the cause of sleep apnea, but Dr. Diaz says it may make it worse. And just because you don't snore doesn't mean you don't suffer from this condition. But if you go to sleep with no headache and wake up with one, that's a very good sign you have a sleep disorder. So tomorrow we start with a study on kids in the Borderplex and why the schedule at every single public school in the borderland is not operating under guidelines recommended by the government and pediatrics. KFOX 14, Carpe Diem.